Good morning, ladies. How are you today? I hope you're doing awesome. So welcome to a new session. Today we're gonna do a quick review. Hey, how's it going? Quick review about modal verbs in this case, and of course, modal verbs is not like everything that we should be revising for the next test, but I'm going to explain to you a little bit more about the rest of the review, right? You know that we're going to have a test on the 21st, if I don't mistake. Yeah, 21st, I'm going to open the grammar test and it's going to be closed on the 22nd, right? So you're going to have 24 hours to do the test. And the contents included are all the grammar items, the grammar structures, for example, in the calendar, which is in this case, the route that the route we followed this semester, including the vocabulary, of course, but the vocabulary will be integrated in the exercises, right? It's not a test about vocabulary. It's a test about use of English. Esa es como la especificidad, digamos, del tipo de prueba. Es una prueba que es de uso del inglés aplicado, ¿cierto? Yo no le voy a preguntar por el significado de palabras. No tiene sentido eso, ¿ya? Entonces, pero sí, obviamente, en cada ítem yo podría incluir una que otro vocablo con respecto a law and order, newspaper and television, pero you will have 24 hours to do the test. Si no conocen una palabra, la buscan en el diccionario y era, porque ese no es el objetivo, sino que en el fondo es la aplicación en un contexto de las estructuras que hemos estudiado, ¿cierto? Aplicación de zero definite indefinite article, aplicación de report speech, aplicación de present perfect continuous y todo eso, ¿ya? Entonces, eso es más el enfoque, ¿ya? Y hoy día vamos a alcanzar a ver solamente una cosa más, que es modal verbs. Pero yo todavía estoy diseñando, digamos, el tema del video de revisión total, una revisión global de toda la estructura gramatical. Ya, y las temáticas que hemos visto, yo creo que lo haré listo de aquí a mañana y lo voy a subir, digamos, a Lucampus como un link de YouTube, lo más probable, ¿ya? O si no, un link de Google Drive. Profe, disculpe, ¿cuándo lo voy a subir? Sí, esta semana. Lo que pasa es que todavía no puedo terminar el video, entonces, porque es como, pensaba hacerlo por partes, pero mejor hacer un video que sea como global. El 21, la prueba, sorry, el 21. Se abre el 21, se cierra el 22. Entonces, el video tiene que ser como, sin el problema, no worries. El video tiene que ser, como les digo, que yo creo que va a durar como mínimo una hora, todo el contenido, ¿cachai? Entonces voy a ir repasando todo lo que hemos visto, haciendo como un summary del semestre y todo eso, y las cosas que voy a incluir en la prueba, y las que sí, las que no. Ya, entonces yo creo que de aquí sale del horno de aquí al sábado, a todo rentar. Eso. Lo que pasa es que un fin de semestre es súper loco, es para ustedes loco y para mí también. Entonces, estoy con harta pega, mucha pega, pero va saliendo de a poco las partidas del horno. Yeah. So, regarding in this case, the topic for today, we're gonna review models of probability. Okay, modal verbs in general first. Modal verbs in general. Now, modal verbs and auxiliary verbs are very similar. Actually, they look like cousins, because they belong to the same umbrella term, which is auxiliaries. There are modal auxiliary and modal verbs like these ones. For example, will is in the list, and normally we teach will as an auxiliary verb, you know, for the future simple. Same with did and does and so on, you know. Would, for example, all of those verbs are considered auxiliary verbs, and it's correct. But modal verbs are very similar because they work pretty much in the same way. For example, modal verbs and auxiliary verbs can be, in this case, combined with infinitive verbs. So, for example, it's incorrect to say, for example, I could to go. It's not okay. It's the same as I would to go. It's incorrect because to, in this case, you need to take it off, and you only keep the base form in this case. I would go, I could go. So in that way, the would and could they work in a similar way. Okay, so that's why I say that modal verbs and auxiliary verbs are cousins, right? Pretty much like UDI. Chiste fue mentira. Entonces, and can, could, may, might, must, should, in this case, are normally in this group of pure modal verbs, right? And also another characteristic is that modal verbs cannot be inflected. It means that modal verbs cannot be modified, like, for example, other verbs. Like, for example, you cannot say can't, así como ponerle un ed, como que tú quisieras, igual que work, the past form is worked with ed in the end, but it's impossible to do that with can or could or may or might. It's not just not possible. It's because against the nature of the verb, right? And that separate, of course, modal verbs from the rest of the verbs, right? And so they can't be inflected is the technical term. No pueden tener inflexiones, modificaciones o transformaciones de ese tipo. You can have, of course, negative forms and interrogative forms, but that is the whole sentence, you know, the whole phrase. And like here, for example, I can speak Spanish. Can I go to the bathroom? It can't be Mark. He's in London. So you can have three forms, okay? But normally we say that, for example, the past form of can is could, right? That's correct. But could is also used for future possible. So, for example, he could speak French when he was 6. Abilities in the past, you know, or the past form of could. What else? He could go to the theater. In this case, is past permission. Probability, probability in the future. You know, we're talking about the past ability, past permission, but probability is for the future. It could get much hotter in July, right? Future possibility. Request, I could lend you my notebook. Future, it's a possible thing, but not in the past, right? So we got different uses. So could is not exactly the past form of can, because it's not like no es que nazca del can, así como pasa con work, worked, or for example, sleep, slept. No es que como que yo tenga que causar esa transformación desde la raíz del verbo. Yeah, it's different. May, for example, may, some people say, oh, might is the past form of may. It's like, not exactly. It works like that, but it's not exactly. No que nace de may, right? In this case, for example, may is probability 50% about the future, right? and for permission in this case. It may snow tomorrow, but there's a 50% probability, you know, for the thing to happen. I'm not sure about it. The same with could, you know, it's just a probability, but it's not 100% certain. Might, in this case, it's a 30% or 35% or less probability, 20%, 10%. It depends on the speaker. It depends on the intention of the speaker, right? It's not subjective. It's got parameters, ranges, right? But it's a very it's a less likely possibility, right? It might rain today, but I'm not sure. It's like I have no evidence. Maybe there are some little signs, but it's not really likely. Must in this case, and should, no, must, only must. For prohibition, we know that, you know, remember that mustn't or must not is not equal to, for example, don't have to or doesn't have to, right? You mustn't speak loudly is clearly a prohibition, right? But if you say you don't have to speak loudly, it's not necessary to speak loudly. So don't have to, doesn't have to, equals to not needed or no need, right? Which is completely different from prohibition, right? You mustn't speak loudly. It is a hospital. A hospital. Falta aquí digamos, de sintaxis. What else? Deduction probability in this case, 100%. Yeah, aquí la probabilidad es 100% desde el punto de vista del speaker, right? The teacher must be Mark. I've seen his bicycle outside. In this case, it means that the speaker is 100% sure, right? Pero ¿cómo saber qué es lo que siento, piensa el speaker? You know, we need context in this case. So here we have, you can see that del 100 al 0 tenemos must is 100%. Then we got in this case can, que no tiene un porcentaje, pero can es una alta probabilidad de algo. Aquí está probability. Yo diría que can es como el que bordea los 80%, se fija 80% more or less probability, right? Cuando es en positivo. Cuando es en positivo. Cuando es en negativo, can't es 0%. 0% probability. In the negative form of can, in this case. Can't o can't. Pero cuando está en afirmativo, es una alta probabilidad. En positivo, ¿ya? Could probability in this case 40%, algunos dicen más. Anyway, may normally is 50%. Yeah, very similar to could. Might is low probability, absolutely 20%, I would say, and so on. Hasta, como les decía, 100% must, 0% can't. And that's it, because will in this case no debería estar aquí según mi opinión, but entiendo de que, digamos, lo incluyeron porque quizás se confundieron, pero no hicieron la separación. Pero sí entiendo de que modal verbs are very similar to auxiliary verbs. Yeah, son parientes. Yeah. And this infogram in this case is separamos, digamos, en este caso los modal verbs for probability, que serían can, could, may, and might, right? El must no está, debería estar, ¿ya? Pero ya antes conversamos de eso, que era 100%. There are some examples also. I can dance tango is pretty much abilities. They can't speak German. 0% in this case probability, o en este caso de habilidad, no puede hablar, pero sí puede hablar francés, dice. ¿Ya? Pero también se usa para probabilidad de 0%. Aquí dice could for probability 50%, y que van variando los porcentajes, pero más o menos por la misma línea. Past form of can and probability 50%. May, possible that something will happen, al 50 or 60% también. Y might, very. It is possible that something will happen. Sí, pero no. Really low probability for something to happen. She might take the test this term. She might do it, but she's not sure, for example, at all, right? Y dice acá también, the negative form of may and might is may not and might not. That's correct. Modal verbs have their own negative and interrogative forms. Yes, that's true. But might, for example, for questions is weird. It's rare. It's not common. Absolutely not common. You can say might and mightn't. Yes, no problem. But questions is grammatically possible, but really low probability. O sea, si ven una pregunta con might, por favor, avísenme y sáquenle foto. May in this case is, yeah, may I go to the bathroom? May we go to that part? May the force be with you, you know, Star Wars. That's possible. Pero el may you, may they is also rare. It's almost impossible to see that thing. Son como frases bien específicas, ¿no? En pregunta, estoy hablando. Could en pregunta, very common. Could I, could you, could she, could they? See, very, very well known in this case. Can for questions, absolutely possible all the time. Can is more informal. Could is more formal, right? Y may is really formal and just with some personal pronouns, como lo decía, may the force be with you, que básicamente no es una pregunta, sino que es una aseveración, ¿cierto? May I go? May we live peacefully? Totalmente formal, ¿cierto? Pero con primera persona singular y plural. Con segunda persona y tercera, it's almost impossible to see that in a question, for example. Yeah? Might, may not. So far so good. I don't know if you got any comments, any questions about modal verbs in this case. Nos estamos enfocando entonces en modal verbs for probability, right? We're going to do some exercises, actually. So the idea is that you tell me the answers for this exercise, right? You can use the microphone or you can use the chat room. I'm going to be reading you. And here we go. Number one, they can or they may be away for the weekend, but I'm not sure. What do you think? What do you think? What do you say, guys? Chat. Gonzalo may, thank you. Francisca may, Daniela may, Caroline may. All right. Okay, good. So I'm going to click on B. No les voy a dar pista, no les decir, no, está buena, no. Ustedes tienen que hacerlo, ¿ya? Porque ustedes tienen que sacarse la buena nota. So they may be away. Here we go. Excellent. Your score is 100%. Good job. Next. He can or he could be French, judging by his accent. Gonzalo could, all right. Caroline could. Montserrat could. Could. Toda la apuesta al could, ¿cierto? He could be French, judging by his accent. All right. There's no certainty, but there is an inference in this case. Excellent. Your score is 100%. Very good. Very good. Cada vez está más cerca al 7. And number 3, De hecho, en la prueba voy a incluir ejercicios muy similares a este. For you to know. ¿Qué más? Dice, they may not still be out, or they can't still be out. Hay que imaginarse la situación. Yo dijera, they can't still be out. Es como, pero ¿cómo no pueden estar afuera todavía? ¿Por qué? Muy tarde. I don't know. It's too late for them. Or they may not still be out. Puede que ellas aún no estén afuera. Puede que no estén afuera. You have to choose in this case. Daniela can't. Francisca cannot. You guys agree with them? What do you say? Okay. So I'm going to click on can't. Está difícil, dice la Mons. Diría may not, dice la Mons. Tienen que ponerse en un contexto, no solamente en el contexto gramatical, sino que en un contexto pragmático realista. ¿Qué diría usted en una situación así como imaginarse el caso y decir, claro, es posible decir, oye, pero no pueden estar afuera todavía? Una cosa así, que mira la hora que es. O puede que ellas aún estén afuera, sí, pero con un signo de interrogación, porque yo creo que exclamation mark is the key in this case, right? Está con énfasis, entonces. Pero vamos a marcar la más votada, que sería can't. Excellent. Your score is 100%. Can't in this case, porque la expresión es muy común decir, es más común decir they can't still be out que decir they may not still be out con un signo de exclamación. ¿Ya? El problema es que hay poco contexto, entonces como cuando falta contexto hay que estar casi adivinando. Entonces, ya, yo voy a procurar darle contexto a los ejercicios como para que decidan bien, no dejarlo tan así como ambiguo el tema. 4. With luck. Esa frase es súper importante. With luck, tomorrow can be or could be a sunny day. With luck, right? There's no certainty. There's no certainty at all. Gonzalo could, Daniela could, Francisca could, Valentina could. Everybody's voting for could in this case. All right. No more opinions? Excellent. Your score is 100%. Very good. Excellent. So, Invictus so far, right? Espero que sí sea la prueba también ahí, Invictus, in your case. Number 5, dice, you might or you can be right, but I'm going to check anyway. You might be right or you can be right, but I'm going to check anyway. Gonzalo might. Francisca might. Monse might. Valentina might. All right. Okay, that's the most voted. A is the most voted, so here we go. Excellent. Very good. So far, so good. So far, so good. Okay, let's move on. The exam can be easy or the exam might be easy. You never know. Creo que la clave está en you never know. No certainty. Any ideas? Gonzalo might, I think. Yeah. Montserrat might. All might. Almighty. Francisca might too. Everybody says might. All right, I'm gonna click on that one. Excellent. Your score is 100%. Very good. So far, so good. 7. It can or can't be true about a sauropod dinosaur living in Lake Tele in the Congo. It's impossible. Con esa frase ya te lo dijo todo. It's impossible. Gonzalo can't, Monse can't, Francisca can't. Everybody agrees? Krishna, Ola, Antonia, you guys agree? Antonia, yep. Krishna, yes. All right. So I'm gonna click on can't, and it's correct. Very good job. It's so correct. The correctest. Obviamente, está mal dicho. 8. Dave reckons she's from the States, but I think she might be from Scandinavia. Monse might. Okay. ¿Quién da más, quién da menos? A or B? I agree, dice Francisca. All right. So you bet is might in this case. Hagan su apuesta. 5 lucas might, 5 lucas can. Might, I agree. Only 2 people agree on might. Entonces, might a la 1, might a las 2, might a las 3. No fue el might. Excellent. Your score is 100%. There you go. Very good job. Very good job. Entonces, she might be from Scandinavia because there's no certainty, and can is more certain. You know, like it's a skill. It's also an ability, but also probability is really high with can. Right? It's like 90%, 80%, versus might, which is 20%, 30%, which is the speaker is not certain about this. Number 9, I can go, or I might go to the party, but I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure yet. It's pretty much like clear, you know. Monse can. All right. So it means that it's 80% probability, more or less. Yeah, como si I'm 80% sure, but I'm not sure. El problema es que es ambiguo porque no sé qué piensa el speaker, no sé qué está sintiendo, pensando. That's the problem with these exercises, you know, it happens to me too. O sea, yo ahorita tengo mi respuesta ya, pero I understand that it can be confusing. So, Monse dijo can. You guys agree with Monse? Francisca might. All right. Caroline might. All right. Va ganando might in this case. Might, Daniela, ok, todos hagan sus apuestas. Very good. So, might a la 1, might 2, might, 3, se fue might, and it's correct. Very good. Might, because I'm not sure yet, but por lo menos en la cultura anglosajona se entiende de que en este caso en particular, si digo I'm not sure yet, inmediatamente yo debería decir might, porque can es como I can go to the party. Y estoy diciendo, si puedo, pues puedo ir 100%, o sea, como puedo ir, voy. But si te está diciendo I'm not sure yet, es como, yeah. De repente uno dice, no estoy seguro, uno dice, ya, así no es. Something cultural, it's more cultural, right? Number 10 dice, this can, y con esta terminamos, porque ya son las 11:17. This can be the right answer, but we'll have to check with your teacher to make sure. Or this could be the right answer, but we'll have to check with the teacher to make sure. This can be the right answer, or this could be the right answer. Wow, this don't could. Francisca could, Caroline could. All right. There's no certainty because you need to check when you are not certain. When you're not sure about something, you need to double check to make sure. Yeah, this can be the right answer, but we'll have to check. Could. All right. I'm gonna click on could. Excellent. Very good. 100%. Tienen un 7 simbólico. Lo pueden guardar en sus cocoros. ¿Ya? Pero es una evaluación informal. Antonio dice, ya se ganaron un round of applause. Bueno, si lo hacen así en la prueba del 21, fantástico. Very good. You're really happy to upload only 7s. That's the idea. Ya, entonces, take care and have a great day. See you soon. Ya, cualquier cosa que necesiten, por favor, escríbanme nomás por chat. Estamos ya en la recta final. Así que anything you need, please, on WhatsApp, okay? Bye, bye. See you soon. Bueno, en 2 semanas.
Bye.
Bye, bye. Bye, take care. Have a great recess week.